task of adopting the historical form of Judaism to the demands of the present. So we get the idea. The historical school and all the others are trying to adopt Judaism to the demands of the present. Are they succeeding? Can they succeed? Will they succeed is what we'll have to decide for ourselves looking at this. The worship service is the bond which binds the congregation. Okay, nothing wrong with that. I think we'll grant him that. It means that the expression of religious conviction as alive in the individual as in the group. You must not deny the connection with the totality of the historical past. You see, he is pretty intellectually expressed. He does a much better job of expressing than the previous introduction, doesn't he? Yet it must at the same time nourish the religious needs of the present. Okay, sounds good. The demands made upon the prayer book for our time are therefore so manifold and proceed with such divergent points of view that the publication of a prayer book which can satisfy all congregations at the same time simply cannot be undertaken. The divergences, etc., are too great. Okay, fair enough statement. Down further, page 57. The prayer book has not been modeled according to the theory of an individual. It has roots in history and is expressed in invitation of large congregations. Okay, so history is the thing still. For many years, next paragraph, the lack of a well-arranged prayer book, particularly for Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, we're still working on that in the modern period, have been felt by the two congregations in Frankfurt. So, you see, that's all they really cared about, just like the modern period. Judaism in America, funnily enough, the bastion of Reformed Judaism is America. All this migrated to America, every single bit of it. But not the intellectual further development. It was developed here and it stopped here. I don't think Reformed Judaism, with all its efforts, has really developed any further than what he's talking about here. And they've tried to go back a little bit and do this, but it's basically frozen in place. So does it appeal to the modern Jewish community? Does it appeal to the modern Jewish youth? I don't know. I can't judge. I know it doesn't appeal to my children. I'm not trying to make them appeal or not appeal, but, you know, I don't know what would appeal to them, so I can't say. Organized things that don't appeal to modern people that much. Modern young people, anyway, that I know. So I don't know. So I can't say, but, okay. I'm just observing my own situation. So, the principles 58 were then formative. They were combined in a memoir and approved by the administration already in June 1869, blah, blah, blah. And here's the principles that he's talking about. I guess it's signed by him here. To the worthy congregation, I submit this extensive plan on the principles of the commission. 1. The prayer book should retain its customary character and in a precise form express its connection with the history of Judaism. However, essential components, therefore, of the service, this is where Reformed Judaism is today. They read Hebrew occasionally and the congregation understands nothing. The traditional remains in Hebrew. The traditional Hebrew expression, though, here and there, not free from a certain Oriental extravagance. So he's like, you know, he just sort of puts it down. You know, not that German isn't extravagant. It's worse as far as extravagance goes. It's on the whole untouched. You know, some Oriental extravagance. I don't think so. It's very compressed. Hebrew is not extravagant. It's the opposite. It's very unextravagant. Very compressed. King James English is very extravagant. German's very extravagant, but not Hebrew is very, unextravagant.
Where was Hebrew at this time?
In the prayers, in the Bible.
Not used at all?
No, not spoken. Not spoken. Let's see if we can get through this quick, because I gotta. Nevertheless, particularly on the distinguished days, the service must contain a few German prayers, 2. And the Hebrew must be accompanied by a German translation or paraphrase or adoption so that people understand. And in a Jewish Reformed temple, they have the Hebrew often on one side and English on the other side. And then occasionally they'll have some Hebrew mixed into it, but they'll translate it again. And look, 3, special care must be taken to reduce the duration of the service. The Orthodox services are too long. Well, there is no service at all. Everyone just prays almost at their own rate. They go, and there's no real organization at all. It's just almost all chaos, which is charming if you're used to organization. But these people in Germany say, oh my God, we can't have a religion like that. It doesn't look like Christianity, so we've got to change the whole thing around. Because really individuals pray by themselves in Orthodox prayer service at their own speed. They just read through the prayer book at their own speed. Unnecessary repetitions, unessential prayers must be omitted. Well, I've seen Reformed prayer books, and there's repetition, endless repetition of unessential prayers that, I guess got to put something in the prayer book. I'm not sure what you should put. For me, I would just read the Bible. That's all I would do. Read a portion of the Bible, and then next week read another portion. Because that's the elegance. These prayers that they concocted later on are not very inspiring. I don't know if everyone's ever seen a Passover prayer book at the Haggadah, they call it. How many have seen one of those things that they read at the Passover? It's horrifying. I mean, it's rabbinic stuff that really, the only good stuff in it is when they repeat some of the poetry from the Old Testament. All the other stuff is rabbinic, gobbledygook. And it's totally boring to any children or anyone else who'd be sitting there. Adults aren't easily bored, so they just read it and get done with it. But children want to run out and play and do all kinds of other things. Anyway, Orthodox just go on at their own speed. They the people who can pray. And no one expects anyone to listen to them, and no one expects anyone to join in with them. They all just pray along, And when they read the Orthodox prayer at the Passover, people are talking and conversing and enjoying themselves, and some one person may be going blah, 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 and no one's paying attention to them at all. So it's just it's a different approach entirely. Okay. 4. With all respect for retention of Judaism's historical elements, religious concepts which have had a temporal validity but which have been displaced by progressive pure conception as higher elements must not be retained. And therefore, 5. Materialistic descriptions of the deity, personifications of the deity, must be removed. Well, this is ridiculous. That's what people respond to, personifications of the deity. And who is that walking in the Garden of Eden? We know it's not reality, that God doesn't walk around in the Garden of Eden, but to put it that way is exciting.